Hi, it's Sue Greenwald here with Awaken Steps to Health. Today's topic is sugar. So we all love sugary products, but they're so unhealthy for us. And first, I'm going to tell you kind of like what the health risks are with eating sugar and being addicted to sugar, really. I want to tell you a little bit about how the pancreas works and why we want to reduce our sugar. I want to talk about products that have sugar in them that we don't even know about, alternatives and substitutes. All right. So, reasons you may want to reduce sugar is mostly empty calories. There's zero nutrition in sugar. And by this, I'm talking, refined sugar, table sugar, whatever you want to call it. Sugar is, of course, created from cane sugar, but the white sugar is processed and everything good has been processed out of it. All right. So there's absolutely no nutrition in sugar itself. Sugar can lead to increased cravings, okay? And we've talked a little bit about parasites through some of these videos. Parasites increase your desire for sugary products, which is a cycle that increases your cravings. You want more. It increases your cravings even more. You want more, and it never ends. So it's really empty calories, which leads to weight gain, okay, which nobody wants. Even if you're underweight, you don't want weight put on in an unhealthy way, which is what sugar will do. It will also lead to disease called, like diabetes is a big one. Diabetes for most of us is preventable by lifestyle and diet, 100%. And I can prove that to you through a story, which I hope I remember to tell you a little later. Um, Sugar also, if we're eating sugary food and sweet uh, sugary foods, that's a substitution for healthier products. So it kind of crowds out what we should be eating instead. And sugar is a really low vibration food. It doesn't make you feel better when you eat it. Like you'll have a craving, you'll eat whatever, the cake, the muffin, the pie, whatever it is, and you might enjoy the taste, but afterwards, do you feel better or do you feel worse? For most people, they're going to say, well, it was good for a minute, but after a while, I started feeling cranky and not so good. And if you really look at that, you'll notice that you feel worse than better. All right. I might have said dental issues. And so there's a lot of health issues created from sugar. And what's happened over the past years is everyone's gone to low fat products. And to substitute for the lack of fat in the products and the lack of basically taste, they've added more sugar. So sugar is in pretty much every product that's, in a can, bottle, package, whatever it seems like. So I used to do, they were literally 1 to 2 hour talks at major corporations on sugar. And what I had a kit that I would take in with us with various bottles that were empty, and then baggies that had white sugar measured out for one serving of each product, and people were shocked. So some of the products that have sugar in it that you may not be aware of is pasta sauce, salad dressing, yogurts, let's see, that packaged oatmeal, like the Quaker oats that are in the little baggies, of course, soda, lemonade, Gatorades, and all that, Snapples. The iced teas have a lot of sugar and syrup in them. It's really not healthy for you. So let's just say you were going to buy a Snapple or an iced tea. Buy the one that's unsweetened and add your own sweetener so you can control the amount that you're getting and the quality of it, because there are different qualities of sugar, believe it or not. So I wanted to show you, and one of the things I'll be doing down the road is showing you how to read a food label and like kind of where you should go with it. But so here's Annie's salad dressing that I happen to have in the house. So one serving of Annie's salad dressing is 2 tablespoons. In that 2 tablespoons, I can't even read it right now. It's got 3 grams of sugar. So it's there. But if you buy the non-organic kinds, it's even more. But 2 tablespoons is not a lot of product. Okay, here we have organic ketchup, Annie's organic ketchup. 1 serving is 1 tablespoon, so not very much. And that has 4 grams of sugar in it. All right. So you see how all of this can add up. So just think of like pasta sauce like Prego or ragu. If you look at them, they have a lot of sugar in them. All right. Um, I'm trying to think what other products. Like, of course, soda is insane with sugar. It's mostly sugar and water, but there's so many packaged and prepared food that have sugar in them that you don't even know about. So what I want to do here is just raise your awareness about that. So you try to buy products that don't have a lot. For example, if you're going to buy a yogurt or a yogurt substitute, look at the package and buy the one with the less grams of sugar in it. All right, if you can. All right. I want to talk a little bit about how the pancreas works. So we have a blood system. Let's say it's like this. Okay, linear. All right. So we'll eat a sugary product. Let's say a candy bar just for fun or a donut. All right. So what happens is we've got our blood system. We eat a sugary product. Our blood sugar spikes way high. All right. Way off the charts. Okay. And we can't have that. That's not healthy for us. All right. And you've seen kids, they'll eat a candy bar or something sugary and they start to run around like crazed. Okay. That's not normal. It's not healthy for us. So basically what happens is your pancreas basically squirts insulin out to even out the sugar. All right. So what happens? All right, we'll eat the product, the donut, the candy bar, whatever. Our sugar spikes and our pancreas says, whoa, and it secretes insulin. And so the insulin starts to bring the sugar down. Okay. So what happens instead of stopping where we want it to stop, our blood sugar level drops. So we've all experienced this. You'll eat a candy bar, you'll eat dessert or whatever, and then all of a sudden you feel like cranky or you need a nap. You just feel like drained of energy. That's what's happened. Your blood sugar has spiked and then it goes down below the level of what you need. All right. So what do people do? Like, especially like if you're drinking coffee that has sugar and creamer in it, the same thing will happen because of that. It turns to sugar in your bloodstream. Breads turn to sugar in your bloodstream. So many products turn to sugar in your bloodstream, and you're going to notice a spike in your blood sugar. Okay, so what happens is we get low to this dragged out, we're tired, we need a nap stage. And what do? We have another snack. We have another cup of coffee. We eat another whatever, and up our blood sugar goes again. Then the pancreas secretes the insulin. Then it keeps going down. So we are in this constant, it's like a sine wave spiking of our blood sugar all the time. Now, obviously, if we eat foods that are lower in sugar, we're not going to have these big swings in our blood system. And that's what we want. All right. Over time, let's just say you ate coffee and donut every day, just picking something, and you have this all the time. Okay. All day long, you'll have a coffee, you have a snack, and then in the afternoon, you need another one, and blah, 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 blah throughout your life. Again, not a function of age, a function of what you consume and how you treat your body. It's a lifestyle change. Okay. So let's say you had that over and over and over. That's when you start to develop diabetes. Okay, so usually we call it pre-diabetes and then diabetes. Okay, so here's what happens. You keep eating these sugary products, you keep having the pancreas secrete the insulin, blah, blah, blah. You go on with your life. And after a while, your cells won't accept the insulin anymore. The cells are like sluggish. They can't accept the insulin. So that's when you develop the diabetes. All right. Like you have these symptoms where you start to sweat, you feel sick, You feel like you need a nap immediately, and that will escalate to diabetes where you're going to need insulin to control it. Now, here's my story. My dad had diabetes, and it's all due to lifestyle and eating choices. All right. And I picked him up years ago, and we went up to our summer house, which was over 2 hours away from his house. And we get there, and after a while, he says, I forgot my pills and my medicine. And I looked at him, I'm like, shoot, for me to go home and back again to get that for him would have been a 4-hour turnaround. And I said, I'll do it, but dang. And he said, let's try to go without it. So here's what we did. All weekend. It was a holiday week or something. Every time we were all going to eat something, or, he'd look at me and I'd either say yes or no. Like a couple times I was like, no, don't do it. And he literally looked better. He felt better. He was eating only healthy food for 4 or 5 condensed days. And he got by without his medication. All right. Unheard of. But I was on his butt the whole time. I would not let him cheat. Okay. Because I can't let him have problems when I'm there. That would have been horrible. And so, like, for example, let's say the family ate pancakes with syrup. That is a horrible thing for a diabetic to eat, right? First of all, the syrup is pure sugar, and then the pancake turns to sugar in your bloodstream. So a lot of breads, baked goods, they're not healthy for you. We already know this, but I'm just explaining a different way in to kind of have you listen to more reasons why you want to eliminate sugar. So in our Bubble Up group, I've got some handouts that you can look at if you choose. The first one is called Natural Sweeteners. Okay. So these are a list of natural sweeteners and sugars that you can use for baking, cooking, or whatever you're doing that are slightly healthier for you. All right. And I've used all of these, and some of them I'm like, nope. All right. So one thing I did talk about is the refined sugar, the white sugar. I've heard rumors that it's processed with bones. Basically, that's somehow how they get it to whiten. I don't know if that's true or not, but natural sugar, if you get the organic cane sugar, for example, it should be a light brown, all right, because it may still have a couple of nutrients in it. I'm not saying ever that sugar is healthy, but the brown is healthier, okay? So from our list, I'm only going to talk about a few. One is agave nectar, and that is a liquid. It's a little bit thinner than honey, and you can use it for cooking or baking or in your tea. It has a little bit of a taste to it, not horribly offensive at all, but I give agave nectar a thumbs up. All right, it's got the Sue approval. Brown rice syrup I've used before, and all I'm going to say is hell no. It was like a mess. It's almost gluey. It's so thick. And even getting it out of the container, I had little strands of sugary stuff everywhere. So that's why I don't like it. It was really messy to work with. It really didn't have a very sweet taste. All right. One of the others is honey. And of course, we all know what honey looks and tastes like. We want to make sure we get real honey and not the fake honey that's really all syrup. All right. So honey it does have a taste. You can bake with it, cook with it. When you touch a metal spoon to honey, it will lose its enzymes. One of the beautiful things about honey is that it lasts pretty much forever, and it has tons and tons of enzymes, all right, in it. But they're all depleted if you touch honey with a metal spoon. So you should use a wooden spoon or a plastic spoon to keep those enzymes intact. Now, of course, if you're going to cook with honey, probably some of those enzymes will be cooked out, but it has a beautiful sweet taste to it. Maple syrup is another one. Of course, we all know what that's like. It's like a liquid. You can cook with it. You can use it as a healthier substitute for your baked goods or whatever you're making. Molasses is another one. All right. I don't use molasses that often because it has a taste to it that I don't love, but that's a good choice. Stevia. Stevia you can purchase that liquid or a powder, like even in those little packets, and put in your pocket to, if you're having coffee or tea. I personally don't prefer that one. And it is sweet, but it's almost too sweet for me. So it's not like a 1-to-1 ratio to sugar. All right. So you can't put a teaspoon of this in your tea or coffee. That would be like way too much, in my opinion. So you have to play with that. So many of the restaurants will offer that in the green packages now. All right. Turbinado is a very coarse, like a more unrefined type of sugar. And that's usually in the brown packages in the restaurants, the raw sugar, they call it. Right. So that's a good one as well. The others on the list are harder to find and probably not as preferred, but these are sugar substitutes if you're baking or whatever. So if you want to look at this list, it'll be in our Bubble Up site. And then there's a sheet that says using natural sweeteners. So there's a little chart here, and it says, okay, if you're going to use honey, how much do you use to equal 1 cup of sugar or whatever? For example, if you're baking. So it kind of gives you a way to bake without it being not sweet enough or too sweet. Okay. So this sheet will also be in the Bubble Up file. And there are 2 other handouts if you want to look at them. One is 10 steps to dealing with sugar addiction. All right. And the other one is called sweet vegetables. So oftentimes we need sugar and we need it now. And sometimes when I'm a little bored, that's how I get. I want to shovel something down and I want it now. And I usually want something sugary. Not always, but I have that once in a while. So what I do is if I bake, I'll freeze some of the baked goods. I bake organic and, with the healthy components, blah, 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 blah. So I am controlling my components in my item. I'm not going to the grocery store and buying whatever product they have because why? They're using regular sugar. They're using the cheapest other ingredients. They're probably putting food dyes, pesticides, preservatives, all sorts of other stuffs in there that I don't want in my body. So if I bake it myself, I control the components. Okay. So 10 steps for sugar addiction is, have a backup plan. I talked during, I think it was the dairy video about the banana ice cream. Let's say you're craving ice cream and you have a few frozen bananas in your freezer. You can whip up banana ice cream, which has sweetness, but it's a healthier version. So it's a substitution. Okay. Usually what I'd recommend first though, drink water. Many times we're dehydrated and just need more water in our system or we're bored or maybe nervous, but just drinking a couple glasses of water, it kind of fills your stomach up a little bit and you might not need that sugary item. All right. And sometimes exercise or distraction is a good technique. Okay. So I'm going to just kind of burn through this list. Reduce or eliminate caffeine. So caffeine can cause you to have dehydration and your blood sugar swings that we talked about a couple minutes ago to be more frequent. So if you could reduce that, and if you're a coffee or tea drinker, get to the point where you don't need sweetener or creamer in your coffee or tea, that's going to help reduce those swings. And the more healthy you eat, other food wise, the less of these sugary blood sugar swings we're going to experience as well. Drink water, which I already mentioned. It kind of distracts you. It fills up your stomach. And we might have these cravings due to dehydration anyway. Eat sweet vegetables and fruit. So there is a handout called Sweet Vegetables. So these fruits and vegetables are healthier for you, right, than say a brownie or whatever. They've got fiber and they may satisfy your craving for sweet. So for example, let's say an apple. Okay, that's a great one. It's got fiber, it's got nutrients, and it's got a little bit of sweetness for you. Okay, berries are good. Fruit is good, but there's vegetables that are also sweet, okay? Sweet potatoes being one. Carrots are sweet, all right? So these things can make you kind of not need that craving or not needing to satisfy the craving. Use gentle sweets. Okay, so these are, again, like I keep my little stash in the freezer for when I'm desperate. I'm kind of joking, but not really. You could have a stash of healthy things that you go to in a crisis, okay? Get more rest and more recreation, all right, and more sleep. Eliminate fat-free or low-fat packaged foods. Okay, because why? They often, if they're low fat especially, instead of fat, they're going to add more sugar to make it taste better. All right. And probably you don't want to eat these anyways for a variety of different reasons, which we'll talk about during the fat and oil video. Experiment with spices. So cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves in your baked goods or other products might make it taste a little bit different and reduce that need for the sweet craving. So, for example, when I make, say, a chili, I make a lot of vegetarian chili, I'll put a little bit of cocoa powder in it and a little bit of cinnamon, and it just brings out a little bit different flavor. All right. So, stuff like that, playing around with it might help to eliminate the need for sweets. Slow down and find sweetness in non-food ways. So remember when we started this, I said, it's not just about eating healthy. Like you can eat all the broccoli in the world and still be unhealthy because there's other components to us. So being satisfied in other ways, in other words, not being bored, not being stressed, being fulfilled will reduce your need for these cravings and these sweet things. Okay. When your brain is busy and you're happy, you're not going to think, oh, I've got to run out and grab a brownie and shovel it down, right? I think I kind of covered most of this, but there's a list of sweet vegetables out there as well. All right. So bottom line, we already know this. Sugar is not good for you. You already know it. So be aware of the extra sugar that it's put in the products that you're eating. Try to reduce it. You'll notice your skin will clear up. You'll have better skin. You will potentially lose weight easier. You'll break that cycle of the blood sugar swings. You'll break the cycle of the cravings. You'll prevent diabetes and other diseases, chronic diseases. And again, one of those is arthritis with the joints, okay? So all of the good things will happen if you can reduce your need for sugar. So again, I used to do this in a much more detailed fashion, a lot more examples, but I think you get the big picture here. So I hope this helps you break your addiction to sugar. Thank you so much.